only request is that, yeah. So my only request is that also whatever we are discussing, kindly disseminate to your friends, colleagues, and other people in the trade if they have some questions. Obviously, we are in any case are there, and Sudhish and IGPC have been of great help. I also want to start by thanking the sponsors. I believe MTC, PAMP, and SQL, they both are.
Right.
Yeah, so let's acknowledge their contribution to this webinar. And okay, Sudesh, so just so let's start with. It has been some time. I joined on 5th of Feb this year, and before that, also our consortium partners had set up a team which was, working so hard to set up IIBX, and later on, we started looking critically that how we should ensure that the qualified jewelers actually get the benefit, and that's the first thing for which this whole piece has been set up. Can we be to start with an alternate gateway for bullion import, whereby we bring in price efficiency, ease of business, and some of the big players who are in a position to get registered as a qualified jeweler. There are certain criteria which are given on our website. So they are in a position to directly import. They are able to get the benefit of the international prices. They are able to see those prices, and then they are able to import. So since all these things which were there in the circular form, but then they started taking shape in the last 4 or 5 months. So, I mean, I also want to start with acknowledging the support, guidance, and all the hand holding which has been done by our regulator IFSCA, because without their support, I'm 100% sure this wouldn't have been possible. But they have been an immense support, and our consortium partners, right from India INX, NSC, MCX, CDSL, and SDL, they all have contributed in reaching wherever we are today. So let's come to this QJ piece. We all were waiting very eagerly because though DGFT had permitted, IFSC had laid down guidelines, and on the basis of those guidelines, we had issued our circular, and we started receiving the applications for qualified jewelers. The one piece which was missing and where we all were waiting was that Reserve Bank of India had to come up with a specific circular whereby they gives a sort of a SOP, for enabling the forex flow from domestic DTA area, say India, to IFSC. I mean, let's just to make a distinction, though we are all very much part of India. But because this is IFSC, International Financial Services Center, so governed by IFSCA. So this dollar flow was to be enabled. So as you all know, that circular has come, and we are very thankful to Reserve Bank of India for being very diligent. They went through various aspects. They did not want to leave anything loose there, and they really came out after studying all aspects of it, and though that SOP was released. So the moment this SOP was released, we set in motion the testing of. So meanwhile, IFSCA also gave us the permission for the trial run, and this whole thing was tested. A small quantity of gold was imported, and we tested. So let me just tell you. So once the gold comes in the IFSC area, it comes to the vaults which have been authorized by IFSCA. So as you know, SQL is our sponsor today, and their vault right now is IFSCA authorized. So the vault gold which comes there, obviously there are certain checks which undergo. Post those checks, and of course you have to have those entries in the custom record and all. So the gold which comes in IFSC vault, IFSC A approved vault in IFSC area, the gold gets converted into BDR form. The gold remains in the vault. It's not I mean, there is no magical conversion, but what should I say? There is a BDR which gets created. BDR is Bullion Depository Receipt. Uh, just to tell you, anybody who wants to trade on IIBX, so they can trade as a client or as a trading member. And there is also a category of limited purpose trading member, and I'll talk about it later. So they need to have a demat account with the depository. So our earlier the depository was called CDSL depository. Now, just I'll take a second just to tell you how we are structured. So we are structured under a holding company concept. So there is India International Holding, IFSC, Bullion Holding, IFSC Limited, which is our holding company. And under that holding company, so in this holding company, there are 5 consortium partners as the names I gave you. And under that holding company, we are there, India International Bullion Exchange, which for the first 3 years have been permitted to have clearing within. After 3 years, the regulator will again take a call whether that clearing has to be within or whether a separate clearing corporation has to be created. And then a depository format has been created. So the new name of that depository is India International Depository IFSC Limited, as we fondly call it, IIDI. So IIBX is what we are, IIDI is what our depository. So everyone, each one of you who have a desire to come on IIBX need to also open a demat account with our depository. Their website is also now ready, and they are very helpful. And there is a set of KYC and other documents which you have to do. You have to give. They do their due diligence, and then they open your demat accounts. So those demat accounts, the BDR gets credited to your demat account. So in this case, when the bar comes after due checks and the kind of bar which is permitted as of now. As of now, we are talking about the 995 and 999 trades. 995 is 1 kg, 999 is 100 grams, and the contracts which are live right now are for the LBMA bars, LBMA gold bars. So once the bars are there, the BDR gets created. BDR is in a digital form. In our ecosystem, that is in IIBX ecosystem, we have enabled that each BDR, as long as it remains and it is not extinguished, has a one-to-one congruence with a particular particular physical bar. So any digital BDR which is in your demat account has a particular identified bar kept in the vault safely for you. Okay. Essentially, the ones who are coming on the sell side are likely to be foreign banks, foreign bullion banks, big foreign dealers, and other players, who are bullion traders and all. We have also started reaching out, and some of the refineries are also talking to us, so they may directly become our member or the clients of our members to supply their gold directly on the IIBX exchange and in the vaults, and then the BDRs get traded. So this is on the sell side. Let's now talk about the buy side. As of now, what we call about the buy side, and we'll explain what are our future plans, and we'll go slowly, step by step. So let's come to the buy side. That's where you right now our interest area is of qualified jewelers, so that they can use.
Ashok,
Yes, Sudesh.
yes, sorry. So before we get there, let's bring in a lot more clarity on the sell side of it. Right. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
So as a supplier entity, when they are to get the gold into IFSC unit, IFSC zone, is it mandatory that it all has to be converted into a BDR, or they can have it in a separate, or they need to have it in a separate vault or separate? Can that be demarcated? Is it BDR gold or non-BDR?
Yeah, Sudesh, I think thank you for asking this particular question, and because this clarification is required to be given. So there is a free trade zone vault which is there. Okay, essentially what we understand, there is one big vault and it has two components, and at some places there are two vaults as such. So one vault which is, or within a vault, one area which is fully demarcated is labeled as the IFSC vault, and the other is a free trade zone vault, right? So there are two ways things happen. There are players who continue to supply the gold at this point of time to the nominated banks and nominated agencies. So they can, in any case, keep the gold in the FTWZ area vault, right? And so that need not be converted into BDR. But if they have a intention and a desire, and they are our client or client of our member or directly our member, and they have a demat account, then they can put the gold which they want to sell through IIBX in the IIBX or what we call the IFSC vaults. Okay, so in the IFSC vaults, they can keep that gold. So to answer your specific question, the gold bars which are specifically in the IFSC vaults get converted or get assigned a BDR.
BDR. So let's assume a refiner whose objective is to primarily sell in the Indian market. For some reasons, price shot up, market's been pretty discount, and they are holding all BDRs that all the gold is held in the form of BDR. So they want to extinguish those BDRs and export it to some other market where there is premium. How fast can they do it?
So a very good question, Sudesh, because this has been asked by many players, and we want to make it very clear, and we have been repeatedly also saying that ours is a special economic zone. It's a free trade zone in that sense, and without payment of any duty. If you have the gold either in, so it that applies to both, either you have in FTWZ area, or even if you have in our IFSC vaults which has been converted into BDR, you can extinguish that BDR and say that you want to re-export to wherever. Okay. Now, when I mentioned to you, Sudesh, that we have a one-to-one congruence in our system of the BDR and a bar, this was one of the things which we had in our mind. Let's take a name. I mean, not specific to any one, but just for example purpose, let's take the name of Rand Refinery. So, for example, if the Rand Refinery keeps their gold in BDR form, like they put in the IFSC vaults and they are converted into BDR, and they suddenly realize that there is less demand, or they might get a better price elsewhere. Correct. So at that point of time, they can request the depository to extinguish the BDR. And as we told you, there is a one-to-one congruence. So they will be able to get their own Rand refinery bars, which are assigned to that particular BDR. It makes
Excellent.
life easier for everyone. This was one piece. And second thing is, you asked about, how soon and how fast. And what we understand, this is a simple custom process, and within a day, you can just ship your gold out of international airport, by just for completing some of the customs formalities, because we have already enabled how a BDR can be extinguished. And one of the ways for extinguishing BDR is that you want to re-export.
Okay.
So it is safe. So that's the difference. So I'll again come. That's the difference between consignment model and ours. In the consignment model, usually, so you can keep the gold out, but once you get a 30-day consignment period, or so once the gold which goes inside India is a duty paid gold, and there, if you are not able to sell for whatever reason, then you have to again do the reverse process. It might take some time. There also it gets done, but it might take. But here it is quite smooth. No duty to be paid, no duty to receive, no loss of duty. You just re-export your gold.
Okay. And as a supplier, who doesn't have an office in IFSC, and through the member, they as a client, they are holding the BDR. So the sale of gold that they've done, the dollar received, let's say Rand Refinery example, a dollar received, where does that go to? Does that do they have to create an account in IFSC based banking units, or it goes, where does it go to?
So let me just explain the whole process, how things are designed at this point of time. All the trading come clearing members. So essentially right now, whoever is a trading member is also a clearing member. So what we call the TCM, but conceptually you can have a different TM and a different CM. So in this case, the TCM has their designated accounts in the clearing banks authorized by IIBX. So there is a designated account. That is the account in which the dollar flows. And when we are going to do the trading, so the buy side, when they have to put their bid, they necessarily have to give us the full dollars. So both sides, on the buy side as well as on the sell side, there is a,
Sorry.
can you, yeah. So on the buy side as well as on the sell side, there are both 100% paid instruments. On the buy side, you have 100% paid dollar, and on the sell side, you have a 100% value given BDR, right? So once these trade happens, so after that the dollar is with us because we take the dollar first in our account before we allow the buyer to put their bid. And so once the deal gets done, then the instructions are released for payment of those dollars the same day. At this point of time, they go through the trading member TCM's account. But we have taken the instructions from the clients, which are their designated dollar accounts in which only the dollar will flow. So all those safeguards are built in.
Okay. So, and they at any point can take the dollar back to their native account.
Yes, absolutely. In
Hmm.
fact, the moment it is settled, so as we will go on, we'll explain the T0 contract which we are having
The
right
reason to
now.
ask that is,
Yeah.
are there any kind of restrictions that RBI has on that front, wherein
No. So
uh,
here the regulator is IFSCA, and there are no restrictions. The dollars actually flow out the same day, unless you have a dollar account in IFSC
hmm,
banking units itself and you want to keep it there.
okay. Uh, now let's move to qualified jeweler. So as a qualified jeweler, you were talking about creating the demat accounts, and can you help through the process on once you list them as a qualified jeweler, how do they open an account? And the RBI circular, which allows them to remit funds uh, in advance, how does that work? How do they deal with the AD banks in doing this remittance? Can you please explain on that?
Yeah, Sudesh, thank you for asking this question because I was the main reason why I had requested that we reach out to the clients and qualified jewelers through this webinar because I wanted to make certain things clear because this is the latest circular which has come and there are, because there are a large number of AD branches which are, talking about, which will be handling these remittances. So there could be some what should we say loss in translation. Okay, but let me explain how it works. First thing is that obviously once you get a qualified jeweler certification, sort to
Uh,
say.
you may want to repeat the same in Hindi as well after this. Okay.
Yes, I will do that. So
Yeah.
once I finish it, just alert me. I will say it in Hindi also. So once they get the certification for as a qualified jeweler, then we usually check up what would they like to do. So obviously IFSCA also has to do because as per process it is IFSCA who has to finally say these are the qualified jewelers. So if you see already on our website the qualified jewelers names are there and they are also appearing on the website of IFSCA. Once they already have the qualified jeweler certification, they have three routes. So one of the simplest route is that they become the client, and which is the fastest, and that's what we encourage. That kindly become a client of a trading member. So we have the trading members list. Some of the trading members which are active, they are also in talk with the various qualified jewelers to request them to become their clients. So that process is on. Just to tell you, as of yesterday, we have 56 qualified jewelers certifications issued, and there are other 10-12 applications in the process. And mind you, this number came even before this inauguration has happened, and by the time, even then, when RBI circular had not come, because people are excited, people are looking forward to explore this exchange mechanism. Okay, so once you become a client, and we have done two things. What we have done is uh, we have enabled as of now. So as of now, on the request which comes through the official email ID of the qualified jeweler, where once when we are creating the unique client identity for the qualified jeweler as an entity on IIBX, at that time we take from them the AD bank account details and other things, right? And so in their request, they write that what quantity, what type of purity gold they require, and we have a set format. That's on the basis of that set format, we issue a letter to them where we write what is the last traded price, little bit small amount of our charges, and the 5% intraday variation which we can request, and that dollar amount is remitted by the AD bank to our accounts. Our account means the PCM's account in the with the clearing banks, which are Indian IBU branches of the Indian banks. As of now, today, we have three clearing banks: ICICI, SDFC, and Axis. The dollar flow happens there. Once the dollar flow happens, now if we look at the RBI circular and what it is saying, let's understand this. What it says that the dollars are remitted in advance, and they have a timeline of 11 days to complete the transaction. That means within 11 days, as far as our understanding goes, they have to clear the import. So they can put their bid, they can get the BDR in their account, they can start the payment process of customs duty and take the gold out. And as per that RBI circular, uh, it is also required that whatever is the amount remaining at the end of the 11 day, that at the end of the 11 day, that money, that dollar has to be remitted back to the same account from which the dollars were remitted by the qualified jewelers. So when we did the first trial run, that process has also been tested. That the dollars which came, they were used for putting the bid. The BDR was credited to the qualified jeweler's account. Qualified jeweler decided to uh, take it into the DTA area. They paid the customs duty, and whatever was the remaining amount left in their account, that was remitted back to the account from which the dollar had come, and which was the designated account for that qualified jeweler for doing the transaction on IIBX.
Does that mean that it has to be zero balance that needs to be kept? Or
No, so I tell you, so it could be a running thing also, but you will
yes.
have to follow the FIFO concept of dollar inflow.
Okay.
Okay, and there's a simple thing. We have already shared this with the banks who are operating, and they have also realized it's a simple way to track. I mean, there is nothing complicated, no rocket science. So now, Sudesh, if you permit, I will repeat this in Hindi also.
Yeah.
ओके बट सो क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर को मैं योग्य ज्वेलर व्यापारी नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर ही बोल रहा हूँ, ठीक है। गूगल ट्रांसलेशन करी तो क्वालिफाइड का योग्य आता है, तो उसको हम लोग छोड़ देते हैं। ओके, तो जितने भी क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर हमारे साथी हैं, एक आज की तारीख में वो 56 हो चुके हैं। अगर आप लोग इसको अन्यथा ना लें तो मुझे किसी ने कहा कि अब तक 56 सो तो हम इसमें ये बढ़ोतरी भी होने की संभावना है, और हमारे पास ऑलरेडी 10 से 12 और एप्लीकेशंस और इंक्वायरीज चालू हैं। एंड प्लीज ये मानिए कि इन 56 में सम ऑफ द वेरी टॉप नेम्स हमारे पास ऑलरेडी जुड़ चुके हैं, और हमें आशा है कि जैसे जैसे इसके बारे में पता लगेगा, और 15 तारीख को माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी हमारा लॉन्च करने के लिए आ रहे हैं IIBX को, और जैसे जैसे लोगों को उसकी पब्लिसिटी के बारे में पता लगेगा तो ये प्रोसेस और अच्छा होता जाएगा, लोग हमारे साथ और जुड़ने की कोशिश करेंगे, क्योंकि ये वर्ड ऑफ माउथ से भी काफी इसमें प्रोग्रेस होगी। तो जो क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर्स जो हमारे पास जुड़ गए हैं, उनको जब हम क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर का सर्टिफिकेशन दे देते हैं तो दो चीजें उनको करनी होती है। एक तो वो डीमैट अकाउंट खोलते हैं डिपॉजिटरी के साथ, ये शायद मैंने इंग्लिश वाले में बोलना भूल गया था, तो उनको डिपॉजिटरी में डीमैट अकाउंट खोलना होता है, और उसके बाद वो अगर वो एज ए क्लाइंट आना चाहते हैं तो वो एज ए क्लाइंट किसी भी ट्रेडिंग कम क्लियरिंग मेंबर या किसी भी ट्रेडिंग मेंबर के साथ जुड़ सकते हैं। उसके लिए भी प्रोसेस बड़ा सिंपल है, जितने भी हमारे पास टीसीएम्स एक्टिव हैं वो लोग भी क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर से हमारी लिस्ट को देख देख के उनसे रीच आउट करते हैं, क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर भी उनसे बात कर लेते हैं। एक बार जब आपका डीमेट अकाउंट खुल गया, आपके पास यूसीसी है और आप या तो क्लाइंट बन चुके हैं, तो अभी हम क्लाइंट की बात करते हैं, एलपीटीएम और उसकी बातें बाद में करते हैं। तो क्लाइंट जब आप बन चुके हैं तो आप एक डॉलर के लिए एक अपनी रिक्वायरमेंट देते हैं, जिसमें आपका यूसीसी के टाइम में जो आपने अकाउंट दिया है, प्लीज ये ध्यान रखिएगा, कई बार ये गलती हो जाती है कि आप हमको कोई और अकाउंट दे देते हैं, जब हमारे यहाँ पे चेकिंग होती है तो हम पाते हैं कि आपने कोई और अकाउंट नंबर दे दिया है। प्लीज आपको वही अकाउंट नंबर देना है जो आपने यूसीसी अकाउंट खोलते टाइम हमको नोट कराया था, ताकि सिस्टम में एक इंटीग्रिटी बनी रहे कि डॉलर कहाँ से आ रहा है और डॉलर कहाँ जाएगा। वंस ये होने के बाद आपका जब डॉलर आ जाता है तो उसमें हमारी बैंक से रिक्वेस्ट हो चुकी है। बहुत से बैंकों ने आरबीआई के सर्कुलर के बाद से अपने इंटरनल प्रोसेसेस को इम्प्रूव कर लिया है, और बहुत से बैंक अभी प्रोसेस में है। मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि सभी बैंक इस समय कर चुके हैं, बट बहुत से बैंक प्रोसेस में, और जैसे जैसे टाइम होता जाएगा एक दूसरे की देखा देखी सब लोग आगे बढ़ के इसको कंप्लीट कर लेंगे। ऑलरेडी हमारे पास जो एक हम साइकिल कर चुके हैं उसमें डॉलर हमारे पास आ गए थे। तो डॉलर जब आते हैं तो वो टीसीएम के खाते, जो कि हमारे यहाँ क्लियरिंग बैंक्स हैं उनके पास ही है, दे आर स्पेशली लेबल्ड आईआईबीएक्स के खाते, और उनमें वो पैसा जाता है। वो उन खातों में सिर्फ आईआईबीएक्स रिलेटेड ही ट्रांजेक्शन होते हैं, और जब हम आपकी ट्रेडिंग करानी होती है तो हम उसको अपने खाते में पैसा डॉलर ले लेते हैं, और आपको अलाउ करते हैं कि आप उतने डॉलर के इक्वलेंट गोल्ड को खरीद सके। आरबीआई के सर्वर के हिसाब से डॉलर एमिट करने के 11 दिन के अंदर आपको पूरा प्रोसेस पूरा करना है। दैट मीन्स अगर आप गोल्ड ले चुके हैं तो 11 दिन के अंदर आपको बीडीआर को कन्वर्ट करके ड्यूटी पे करके आपको वापस डीटी एरिया में ले जाना है, नंबर वन। नंबर टू, अगर आप नहीं ले पाए किसी वजह से या आपका कुछ बैलेंस बचा है तो 11वें दिन तक हर हालत में वो डॉलर आपके खाते में वापस जाना है, मतलब आप वो डॉलर बाहर नहीं रख सकते हैं। तो ये एक प्रोसेस दोबारा चेक हो चुका है, जहां पे हमने जब ट्रांजेक्शन किया था तो उनका कुछ डॉलर बैलेंस बचा था, जो कि हमने 11वें दिन से पहले ही, क्योंकि यू कैन ऑलवेज मेक अ रिक्वेस्ट, आप पहले भी बोल सकते हो कि आप जिस दिन ट्रांजेक्शन का बचे पैसा आप उसी दिन भेज सकते हो, इट्स अप टू योर चॉइस। सुधीर जी ने एक सवाल पूछा, क्या ये रनिंग अकाउंट हो सकता है? ये रनिंग अकाउंट हो सकता है, लेकिन उसमें हमको एक फीफो फर्स्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट के बेस में डॉलर का ट्रैक रखना पड़ता है कि कितना डॉलर 11वें दिन तक यूज हो गया। मान लीजिए कि कोई डॉलर एक तारीख को आया और 11वें दिन तक उसका सिर्फ 50 डॉलर ही यूज हुआ और 50 डॉलर बचा है, 100 डॉलर आया था, और उसके बाद आपने 9वें दिन पे एक 100 डॉलर और भेज दिया जो कि अभी यूज नहीं हुआ, तो हमें पिछले वाले का 50 डॉलर 11वें दिन पे वापस करना पड़ेगा, ताकि 11 दिन के एंड पे आपके पास नया 100 डॉलर का बैलेंस हो जाएगा, जो कि 10वें दिन पे आपके पास 150 का बैलेंस था। तो ये सिंपल है, इसको हम बैंकों के साथ बात कर चुके हैं और हम लोग ये सिस्टम अपने इनको रेडी कर चुके हैं। तो क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर इस तरह से सबसे बड़ी एक एडवांटेज मैं बता रहा हूँ कि ऑल द क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर्स कैन नाउ एक्सेस द प्राइस विच इज अवेलेबल टू ऑल। इन डिफरेंट मार्केट्स क्या होता है, आपको क्या प्राइस मिल रहा है, किसको क्या प्राइस मिल रहा है, उसमें थोड़ा सा चैलेंज। एक सेकंड दीजिए मुझे। या आई एम सॉरी। सो इन इन चीजों को देखते हुए आपको जो ट्रांसपेरेंट प्राइस मिलेगा, या आप उसको डायरेक्टली ले पाएंगे, या आप कंट्रोल में है कि आप उन 11 दिन के अंदर जो भी आपको प्राइस जब पसंद आया आपने हिट कर दिया, तो उस तरह से आप गोल्ड को ले पाएंगे। आज की तारीख में 9 बजे से 3:30 बजे तक का हमारे पास प्रोसेस ऑन है, जो कि गोइंग फॉरवर्ड उसका टाइम बढ़ाने की भी हम लोग कोशिश करेंगे, ताकि एज एन एक्सचेंज हम जो भी काम करें वो हमारे
We'll get to that.
क्लाइंट्स के हित में हो. इट इज इन योर एडवांटेज. ओवर टू यू
We'll,
सुदेश.
we'll get to that on the timing part.
Yeah.
So there was a question from Abhishek, and I had something related wherein. So let's assume I'm a qualified jeweler who's buying, holding in the form of BDR in IFSC, but not importing it. Although the RBI circular says that a qualified jeweler can remit for the purpose of importing the gold. Right. What I'm doing is I bought the BDR, just holding it there, and yeah, do I have the permission to sell the same BDR on the exchange? Do I have the permission?
Sudesh, that's a very valid point. Let me make it very clear. As a qualified jeweler, you are only allowed to import gold. Period. When I say import gold, you can put your bid and buy the gold. You cannot sell it. You are not allowed to do trading. You are not allowed to do selling. Right? You are only allowed to import. So this is a restriction for the resident Indians. This is not for the entities which are in IFSC area or the entities which are outside India. So हिंदी में बता देता हूं कि जो क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर्स हैं वो सिर्फ गोल्ड को बीडीआर को खरीद सकते हैं. वो बीडीआर जब उनके खाते में आ जाएगी उसको बेच नहीं सकते हैं और बीडीआर की कोई ट्रेडिंग नहीं कर सकते हैं. तो एक मैं डिस्टिंक्शन करता हूं. ये अभी मैं दिल्ली में एक सेमिनार में एड्रेस कर रहा था, तो जब मैंने उनको कहा कि आप ये गोल्ड बीडीआर यहाँ पे नहीं बेच सकते हैं, तो उनको लगा कि अगर हम गोल्ड इंडिया में ले गए तो क्या हम उसको नहीं बेच सकते हैं. नहीं, वो एक आपका देखिए, एक बार आपने गोल्ड मेरे से ले लिया, फिर आप उसका एज अ डीलर आप आगे बेचते हैं या ज्वेलरी बनाते हैं, वो आपका आउटलुक है. लेकिन इन आर इकोसिस्टम, इन IIBX, इन द IFSC एरिया आप बीडीआर नहीं बेच सकते हैं. ओवर टू यू सुदेश.
So, is what in case I'm a member, I'm also as a qualified jeweler, I'm also a member with an office in IFSC. Okay, member. Is it possible that that BDR gets extinguished, and this gets extinguished, but it's not being imported and just been held there?
So Sudesh, I'll just make little bit, because this point, people have this little doubt. So I'll tell you my understanding, and we will come to that, because today we are only working with the client piece. We have not yet started with the LPTM or the QJ as a trading member. So let me tell you my understanding of the QJ as a member. So if you see, we initially talked about the three pieces. So qualified jeweler as a client, qualified jeweler when they open a branch and a subsidiary in IFSC, then that branch and a subsidiary can become a trading member. Third thing is, qualified jeweler can become a limited purpose trading member. Okay. So at this point of time, we explained about client. Let's now come about the trading member piece, because it's a very important thing to make a little distinction.
Right.
See, the qualified jeweler, which is that entity? Qualified jeweler is the entity which is in the DTA area. And that DTA area entity is enabled by DGFT to import from IIBX. It's very simple. And dollars flow from that DTA entry of QJ for import of gold is enabled by RBI. Okay. And the gold which comes for this purpose has to be, the dollar which comes for this purpose has to be utilized for import of gold, purchase of BDR, and of course duty paid, and all duty is to be paid in rupee, and take it into India. And if you are not done it, whatever is remaining, that goes back. The BDR which you buy from these dollar as a qualified jeweler entity cannot be held in the demat account beyond the permitted time, which in our reading today as per RBI circular is date of remittance, and within 11 days you have to complete the process of import. Correct? Hope I have made clear. Now let's come to the trading member. So any qualified jeweler can set up a subsidiary. The moment you open a subsidiary, it's an entity which is an IFSC. It is an IFSC entity. Similarly, when you open a branch, it is an IFSC entity. Now that branch or a subsidiary of that qualified jeweler can act as a trading member. But that trading member is not in a position to import it. The import can only be done by that qualified jeweler. So this trading member can only do the trading activity. Correct. Third thing is a limited purpose trading member. Limited purpose trading member is an entity which is domestic area qualified jeweler given a special right whereby they need not set up an office in IFSC jurisdiction. They can remain in the DTA area and import gold, again import gold and do nothing else. And for this limited purpose trading member, they can only import on for themselves. I mean, they cannot onboard anybody else as a client. If ABC is a limited purpose trading member qualified jeweler, only ABC account can be used for dollar remittance, take the BDR, go back. ABC cannot allow XYZ to become their client and trade on ABC terminal. So this is the distinction which I wanted to make.
Well said. So I'll try to add some complexity here. So a jeweler, a qualified jeweler here, who is a limited purpose trading member, who also intends to be a trading member in IFSC. The purpose being they want to create their own gold metal loan product. Yeah, is it possible for a jeweler to do that? Not I'm talking. Is it possible for them to structure something like that with as a member on the at IFSC?
So Sudesh, let me come back. So I mean, we'll talk about this gold metal loan piece because right now it is not there, and we are still on the drawing board. You know,
No,
we
it's not necessary that it needs to be there on the exchange. It is just that structuring happens at one account, whereas the deal happens in the other account.
Sudesh, in my limited understanding, as of today, for the gold, there are very specific and what should I say? I don't want to use the word restrictive, but there are very specific guidelines, and those specific guidelines are to be followed, right?
Hmm.
And as of now, there is a gold metal loan product which is in a particular way it is run in India. Okay, where on the international lease rate you can take that loan, okay, which where and then you can it whatever period is a working capital cycle for that you can take, and the banks who give you those loans essentially do a back to back loan through the lending bank, right? So at this point of time, to answer your question, in my understanding the answer is no. At this point of time it cannot be done, but what we as the exchange plan to do, we will do those seminars little later,
Later.
a month or two later, when we are ready with the blueprint. But certainly we have our things in mind that what we want to do, because we want to bring lot more transparency, price efficiency in this whole market for the Indian qualified jewelers.
Great. So let's get to the next section in terms of the timing. You mentioned about 9 to 3:30. Uh, the firstly the logic of having this, and is it something that the jewelers are also looking at, because you're not covering both the fixes currently. So that's where most of the volumes and there's a reference to the benchmark happens. What is the basis of these time?
So, I mean, the earlier the timing was, it was, and you talked about fixes. So I think it was essentially to catch the AM fixes. 3:30 and the 4:30 was something which was envisaged summertime and winter time, whenever the time changes in the UK. That is what was thought of. But, we are talking to the regulator, and what we are requesting them that it is still under discussion. So I don't want to preempt it that is going to happen, but we are talking to them that please allow us for T+0 contracts to do the timing from 9 to 5:30. I have a different logic for all that. So you see, we are not talking about in this T0 contract trading happening two ways, right? Essentially what we are initially, so these are, we go step by step. Today what we are talking about is that we want the gold import to be enabled on our exchange, right? And so now recently post-COVID measures were lifted. Reserve Bank of India has elongated the forex timings. Earlier they had stopped at 2. Now they have permitted up to 3:30.
Yes,
Again,
yes, yes,
9 to 3:30. Right. And you see currency futures market goes up to 5. Okay, so there are two components to the any gold price, which the qualified jeweler, if they want to hedge, would like to do. One is the dollar rupee, and the second piece is the XAU USD. Correct. So XAU USD, which is what we are quoting in that sense, in the gold price in dollar. So what we are also seeing, because up to 3:30 uh, forex market is permitted, so there is still a 2-hour window. If somebody wants, if somebody sees the prices are good, and so even if they want to remit dollar, so around up to 3:30 they can negotiate with their AD bank to start the process of sending dollar, and they can come the same day. I mean, that's what is our intention, so that we see our we are also realizing, so we are dealing with the so all our if I can say, use the word व्यापारी, सब व्यापारी हैं, right? तो हर व्यापारी के लिए ये उनका धर्म है कि जो वर्किंग कैपिटल साइकिल है उसको एफिशिएंटली यूज करें, जो भी पैसा है उसको अच्छे से सर्कुलर मतलब रोटेट करें, उसकी साइकिल ठीक से चलाएं. We also want to be do our bit so that we can also compress the working capital cycle or the requirement for the qualified jeweler, whereby so if they are in a position to remit the rupee and convert into dollar, and the dollar we are able to see it in the same day, and they can still buy the gold same day, and the BDR goes into their account, which we are trying to do it in 30 minutes. I think that is what we are attempting. So we'll come to that. We are negotiating, and once we come to a conclusion, we'll put in our website. So today it remains from 9 to 3:30. Going forward, Sudesh, we will plan. I don't want to preempt, but why not? Why not? Why can't we do it for 22 hours a day? If the dollar is
in short,
already if the
yeah,
dollar is already remitted, at any point of time, whatever price suits you, you can click and BDR you take, and after that you start the process next day for. And Sudesh, I would love you to ask me, what are our plans for
yeah,
physical delivery. That's
just
what
getting
we
that.
say. They are going to be USP.
So yeah, that was what I was getting to now.
Ah,
So with this, what you're precisely trying to say is the goal that a jeweler is booking from a dealer or a bank in the domestic area, the same and gets it delivered the same day. You are providing the similar facility through IIBX. Is that what you're precisely committing on with the
yes,
business?
and this I had committed long back, Sudesh. I had told in that commitment that I'm sticking my neck out. I'm willing to make that commitment, and unless I make the commitment and follow it through, there's no point. So let me tell all of you. Let us start with some of the good news. What all recent things have happened, and I'm sure you will talk about MEIS. But let me tell about other things. You asked, banks. Currently today they are able to take it in the same day. Let me tell you. Today we have our vaults in Gift City. We have recently been advised by that relevant authorities have permitted IFSC vaults to come up in any of the SEZ across India. So we'll work on it. And that's a good news for our vaulting partners who are the sponsor also here. So so many of the other SEZs, and our objective is, so today, even today also our vaulting partners have promised that within the nearby catchment area in 4 hours, within 4 hours, the gold can be delivered. And so today, because we have vaults only in Gift City, which is in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, uh, all India, any point of time, even the southern tip of India or eastern tip of India or northern part of India, the gold will be delivered by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Okay, that's what our vaulting partner has told, and that is the TAT with which they are working. But what we are going to do, we are going to move a step ahead going forward, because this enablement we have been trying, and we are so happy. This is an amazing piece through this IIBX. One thing which I have come to my realization, that this whole ministries, departments, they all are eager to support the trade. They all are eager to create policies which are facilitating the trade, which are you, and that's the beauty part. Earlier when I was not interacting with the government department. So I used to think how it is happening. But now I find we are able to, talk to our regulator. Regulator is taking very proactive steps, and then we are able to reach out. So this thing has come. So let's talk about today. So today, in the nearby area, we hope. So once the trade is done, our software is already getting finalized, the changes in the software, so that in 30 minutes you will be able to get BDR. Today you get it by the end of the day, but that's going to happen very soon, within next 15, 12, 20, 30 days. The BDR will be credited to your demat account in 30 minutes of the trade done, and then it is ready to be given to the customer. What customs has told us, once the duty is paid, they want to do it in, we said 30 minutes, they said they want to do it 20 minutes once the duty is paid. So let's see, we'll test it. But the idea is that the whole ecosystem around IIBX is committed to serve qualified jewelers, to ensure that their money is not stuck, and the processes are fast. But we are not trying to give you any false hopes. These are initial times. Sometimes we will find that it is taking some time. So have patience with us. But as the things get ironed out, you will see the efficiency in the whole process, working to serve you better.
Okay. I have a tough question now.
Yeah.
We won't pass, we may. So as a, let's say as a nominated agency or a bank, they take the intents from the clients, and the supplier keeps the gold across various vaults in India. So is it possible that IIBX create a similar system for their QJs, a monthly a platform where they can give the monthly intent, so that IIBX gets to know which all locations the gold needs to be there, so that at any given point in time that your jewelers are able to access it. That's the way currently they have an access. So let's say a SEZ in Chennai, in Tambaram SEZ somebody wants, and so they can move easily, or in or Noida, wherever. So is there something IIBX should be doing it, or what would be the process?
Suresh, I think it's a very good idea what you have given, and we can certainly start looking at it. What we intended to do was, let me tell you, once we were conceptualizing this whole multi-city SEZ piece, and vaults in multi SEZs. So what we were, so just to tell you, our software development is happening where on a similar trading screen, you will be able to see that what price is being quoted for each center, and on our website on a real time basis, you will also be seeing what BDR stock is available at any point of time in that location, so that you can always choose what quantity to bid at which location for delivery. So these are the things which we'll be doing. But the point you mentioned about the coming demand and collation of demand. So here you see on the nominated banks and agency side, you see there is something called, I don't want to use the word commitment fee, but which is essentially the premium, which normally is taken upfront, and whether it is taken as a deposit or kept as a deposit or whatever, or maybe the day custom clearance happens, the premium gets sent abroad, or whatever is a process each bank follows. And custom duty is also collected upfront from the banks and all. Here it is all just in time. What you believe is your requirement today or tomorrow, accordingly just look what stock is available where, send your dollar, put your bid, and take the gold out. It's as
Amazing,
simple. Yeah.
amazing. So that makes it. So, are you trying to say that potentially they could be saving about a $1.50 on each ounce? Just because if I
Actually, when this number I keep on giving, everybody questions me from where do you get this number. But
because
I
we been in the
firmly
banks,
believe,
and yeah,
I firmly
guessing
believe,
it.
that is the least saving which will be there. So I always say 32 to $50 a kg is something which everybody, I mean, this whole system should save for the country and for the jewelers, and it's efficiency on both sides. See, I mean, the suppliers don't have to do their own planning, reach out to one or two, three, four, 10 or 20 or 50 clients. What is the inventory? What inventory they should keep here, there? Here you have one platform. So whatever inventory is there, you bring it at one place or two, whichever place. So when we go for multi, then you decide on where you want to keep it, put your thing. There are all buyers across India have access to that information. One price is for available for all. It's all democratic. You want to take 1 kg, 2 kg, 50 kg, 100 kg, or whatever is on the offer. If you have sent the dollars, please bid and you take the gold back. So I mean, we are trying to bring a very much efficiency. I'm not promising anything else. What I'm promising is we are trying to create a efficient price discovery mechanism, ease of business, and in that process, hopefully both seller side and buyer side save. So this whole ecosystem actually becomes more cost efficient, and that money can be used better elsewhere. We can become more price competitive on our exports. See, the idea is not to encourage import. The idea is this is just an import substitute channel. But if I'm able to bring in efficiencies in the price and delivery and all, then our exporters who are using that gold, they will be able to price it better and they will be able to export it more. And as we go on, we have bigger plans, which I don't want to reveal on this session. We'll restrict it to these
So what you're saying is,
discussions.
last 10 years, whenever you talk to the suppliers, they always say that in the Indian market, the client maintenance fees for them is the highest among all the major consuming markets. That's what the suppliers typically say. So, in a sense, you are also providing a good benefit to the suppliers in taking away that inefficiencies that comes through higher client cost management, higher cost related to managing the client, because you're democratizing the pricing itself. You are democratizing the access to customers, and is the technology that's provided the relationship, and it's not a one-to-one. Because at the end, that's the value that the end consumer also gets, and consumer in the sense like then retail as well gets, right? Is that what? So you want
Yeah,
to
Sudesh, I think I couldn't
explain
have
that
said in
in,
so many good words. I'm
if
so
you want to
thank.
if you want to explain that in 2-3 lines in Hindi as well for many of the here. Hmm.
हाँ, तो देखिए अभी जो भी गोल्ड है वो गिफ्ट सिटी के वॉल्ट्स में आ रहा है। अभी हमारा प्रयास है जिसमें एक सफलता मिल चुकी है कि सरकारी जो भी रेलेवेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं उनका नोटिफिकेशन आ गया है कि भारत में जितने भी SEZ हैं वहां पे IFSC वॉल्ट्स खुल सकते हैं। तो उसके बाद इंडस्ट्री से बात करके, वॉल्ट मैनेजर से बात करके हम लोग देखेंगे कहाँ कहाँ पे एग्जिस्टिंग वॉल्ट्स के कुछ पोर्शंस को IFSC वॉल्ट्स बनाया जा सकता है। उसकी क्या एडवांटेज होगी कि वहां पे जो भी गोल्ड रखा जाएगा तो वो गोल्ड BDR में कन्वर्ट होके एक्सचेंज में ट्रेड हो सकता होगा। और जब हम मल्टी सिटी मोड में जाएंगे तो आपको जो प्राइस दिखेगा परचेज करने के लिए वो सेंटर वाइज दिख जाएगा। वो भी हम इनेबल कर रहे हैं अपने सॉफ्टवेयर में कि भाई, क्योंकि हर सेंटर का कॉस्ट है, कहीं से भी माल आ रहा है तो ईच सेंटर हैज अ डिफरेंट कॉस्ट। सो बिकॉज आप फिजिकल डिलीवरी ले रहे हैं, ये कोई मतलब नॉन फिजिकल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वाला पीस नहीं है, फिजिकल डिलीवरी आप ले रहे हैं, तो उसके हिसाब से आपको प्राइस दिख जाएगा। हमारा ये भी एंडेवर रहेगा कि रियल टाइम बेसिस पे हर सेंटर पे क्या बैलेंस है वो हमारी वेबसाइट पे अवेलेबल रहे, सो दैट आपको पता रहे कि आपको कितना माल उठाना है, वो कहाँ कहाँ पे अवेलेबल है, उस हिसाब से आप अपना बिड डाल दीजिए। और इंडिया में जैसा आपने देखा, हमने बताया कि हमारे आज की तारीख में भी जो वर्ल्ड मैनेजर है वो कह रहे हैं कि साहब अगले दिन सुबह 9 बजे तक हम कहीं भी भेज देंगे। तो उसमें भी आप देख सकते हैं कि कब आपको जरूरत है, किस सेंटर पे अवेलेबल है, क्या प्राइस डिफरेंशियल है। आप अपने हिसाब से वहां पे अपना प्राइस का बिड लगा के सामान को, गोल्ड को ले जा सकते हैं। तो ये चीजें सब आपकी सुविधा के लिए, आपको एक बेटर प्राइस मिले, आपकी वर्किंग कैपिटल में बेटर चीजें हो, तो उन सब चीजों को देखते हुए हमें लग रहा है कि ये हो जाना चाहिए। तो मेरे ख्याल से ये सब चीजें आपकी सुविधा के लिए होंगी। और जैसा अभी सुधीश बोल रहे थे, जो सप्लायर्स हैं उनका भी ये मानना है कि दे विल बी एबल टू ऑफर बेटर प्राइसेस। वो आपको, बायर्स को बेटर प्राइस ऑफर कर पाएंगे, क्योंकि उन्होंने एक जगह जाके गोल्ड रख दिया, अपना निश्चिंता है, वो कोई मैनेज नहीं कर रहा कि किस किस क्लाइंट का क्या है, उसको क्या हमने बोला, किसको किस दिन क्या प्रीमियम बोला, अरे वो सब भूल जाने का। आपका आज का क्या प्राइस है, आप अपना प्राइस डालिए, वो हिट होगा, प्राइस लीजिए, ले जाइए। तो ये सब चीजें लेके सब में एक एफिशिएंसी आएगी, सब डेमोक्रेटिक वे में काम होगा। मेरा ये सबको ये कहना है कि देखिए, आप इसको कोई ग्लिप टॉक मत समझिए, ऐसा मत समझिए कि मैं कोई स्मूथ टॉक कर रहा हूँ। मैं एक बात बताना चाह रहा हूँ कि एक हम लोग एक प्रोसेस बिल्ड कर रहे हैं, हम लोग एक संस्थान बिल्ड कर रहे हैं, इसके आसपास एक स्ट्रक्चर खड़ा कर रहे हैं। तो हो सकता है शुरू शुरू में कहीं पे तकलीफें आएंगी, मैं चाहूंगा आप हमें फीडबैक दें ताकि हम उसको इम्प्रूव करते रहें। और प्रयास ये है कि हम जो भी करें एज एन एक्सचेंज, ये एक्सचेंज आप लोगों के लिए है, ये हम सिर्फ एक एक्सचेंज खोलना है इसलिए नहीं खोल रहे हैं। हम चाहते हैं कि आप इसका बेनिफिट लें और हम आपको ये बेनिफिट्स प्रोवाइड कर पाए। ओवर टू यू सुदेश।
Yes. So there are this about 10 different duty scripts that's available in the market because India's exports been increasing over last 3 years significantly. And I'm not talking about duty exports, the services, other merchandise exports, and there's a good benefit that's been coming to the duty script. Uh, all these years, a bullion dealer or a jeweler couldn't use these scripts to import gold because they had to go through a nominated bank or an agency. And there was always this compliance issues that whether it will be whether these scripts are real or not. The authenticity of the scripts were always in doubt and were never used and were primarily used for using Dore. Now you look at the differential or the duty differential that the scripts can actually provide is sometimes in some cases just as good as the duty differential of a Dore to a refined bullion. Now, the qualified jewelers are currently in a position to uh, import gold directly using these scripts. So, you would want to explain further on that and how, uh, in a way, I'll put it this way: gold industry is facilitating or rather providing a better incentive for the other export markets or the other industries which are exporting because we are gold industry is in a position to buy it at a better rate and utilize it for better price for the other merchandise exporters and the service exporters. So that is the kind of value add that the gold industry is providing. And this is going to this is something that the qualified jewelers should look forward to take advantage of.
Yeah, Sudesh, good that you brought this point. As you know, this circular has already come, right? And whereby it has been advised that proper SOP is to be prepared so that these MIS clips can be used at the GIFT IFSC SEZ. I'm sure that is now there in place, and because earlier there was some confusion, we had we were clear that it can be permitted, and so that is the way relevant authorities have also looked at, and we are very thankful to them. And so that advantage you mentioned about those things, so I think these are very real advantages. And it's good that, and so it's a level playing field. So if at other SEZ those scripts were allowed to be used, so and they are also now allowed to be used at our SEZ. So I think our qualified jewelers will be able to use it and use this channel to get it at a better price, make good quality, better price jewelry for export, and earn more and more export revenues for the country, so that more and more scripts get generated and we keep on doing this efficient trade. And see, ultimately, at some point of time, we all will have to realize that all this gold trade has to, you know, tune towards creating some of the best jewelry. What our artisans, we have such skills of centuries and thousands of years, a skill of making jewelry and other things are there. Each of the different regions have their special skill set, and we should promote. So the more price efficiency we bring in procurement of gold as a raw material to them, and they will be able to price their beautiful creations in a fantastic way in the international market and earn more and more foreign exchange for the country. That is what we
Great.
hope to provide through IIBX.
I think we more or less covered most of the recent developments. Is there anything, Mr. Ashok, I'm missing out? Or
The only thing I want to, I'm so excited and really, geared. Pradhan Mantri Modi ji 15 तारीख को 4 बजे हम लोग का लॉन्च के लिए आ रहे हैं गिफ्ट सिटी में, और भी उनके कार्यक्रम है गिफ्ट सिटी में, लेकिन IIBX का लॉन्च भी एक प्रमुख कार्यक्रम है। हम लोग इस समय का बहुत दिनों से इंतजार कर रहे थे, एंड हम सभी उनका स्वागत करेंगे, एंड आप सभी का गुड विशेस चाहिए उस प्रोग्राम की सक्सेस के लिए। और आप में से बहुत से, मेरे को विश्वास है, आएंगे हमें मीट करने के लिए, उस दिन इवेंट को अटेंड करने के लिए। तो आप सबका स्वागत है, एंड लेट्स मेक दैट लॉन्च ग्रेट सक्सेस। उसका एक वेबकास्ट भी होगा, तो आप में से जो लोग वहां न आ पाए, दोज ऑफ यू आर नॉट इन अ पोजीशन टू कम बिकॉज ऑफ सर्टेन नंबर्स एंड सिक्योरिटी रीजंस एंड ऑल फिजिकली, it will be live telecast or a live cast, a webcast on Twitter and YouTube. Those things will be provided. So please join us in our celebration that day on those live webcasts. And I seek your good wishes for the success of IIBX. We all will work together. We'll iron out whatever niggles are there, whatever issues are there, whatever complaints you might have. And we together only we can make this a success. And this is not our project, this is not your project, this is a national project, and we'll talk about other aspirations in some of the other seminars, but today we wanted to restrict ourselves for this.
any questions? I do see there are quite a good list of questions here, but somebody would want to raise their hands and come over and ask.
Sudesh, my idea is if you can just scan through and take it yourself, because that
Okay.
makes it a little efficient.
So I'll go from listening. Devendra Oja, what benefit dominated banks who are not having IFSC unit do they have? Non-rated banks who are not having IFSC unit.
No, that is not a problem. See, it's a dollar flow. So they know whom to send the dollars and how to. Swift will be used to send the dollars. So that's not an issue. So whether the nominated bank has a IBU or not, the dollar can still be sent.
Okay. And what
this is just a simple normal dollar. Yeah, right. Please. Yeah.
What will the cost differential? The question by Vaishali. We were talking about $1 to $1.5 is what our estimate is.
So that is the estimate again. See, I tell you, this is all
so when the market starts, we can actually, because that liquidity portion.
I'm actually quite wary in giving any number, because the more efficient it becomes, the more benefits will accrue to everyone, and that will only happen when more and more players come on both sides.
Absolutely. The operational convenience as an alternate input system, yes, that's been explained already. So no need of stock transfer benefit workers, no need to take in. I think yes, other questions were answered in this process. Yes. Right.
Yeah, you can refer to my website. There
all those questions were answered in the process.
So if you have more questions, kindly send to us your questions from that in that email IDs which are given. Yeah. There is one question about TRQ. There can we just quickly take one?
IIBX was given nominated. Yes. So we have to cover on the UAE SEPA. That's what came up. So where do we stand on listing the Emirates Good Delivery and getting it imported through IIBX?
So we are making ourselves ready. As you know, the notifications came. There was little minor drafting issue was there in those notifications, because they had asked for the IEC code of IFSC or IIBX. As you know, they'll be so probably government agencies, they have talked to each other, and some solution is coming where the IEC code of the QJ will be used. Whoever is a QJ or the TRQ holder who is authorized to come on IIBX, and we will be working to launch a separate contract, which will be for UAE good delivery. We have not yet done it. We are in the process of evaluating, and we are in discussion with various stakeholders. So that should also happen soon. And once that is there, and our name gets added in the drop down of TRQ, uh, uh, through which the TRQ holders can import gold, or even otherwise also efforts are in the in place, so that once this contract gets clearance, so UA good delivery as well as the TRQ holders can, who are the QJs, can come and take the gold through us and avail the benefit of whatever duty reduction government has allowed.
What all MIS or data will be provided by IIBX? Uh, I didn't get that question. What all MIS or data will be provided by IIBX?
So they might be asking about, how many, what trades have happened periodically. All those things we'll work it out. That's not a question.
Okay.
Whatever transparency is required to be done, we'll do. We'll follow some of the best practices of global exchanges.
Any cap on the amount of advance remittance to IIBX? Is there a cap on that?
So cap, I mean, it's not for speculation, like, so whatever is your requirement, you will be sending, or you will have to justify why you are taking it, So whoever is your bank, they will ask you how many you have done, what you have done previously. They will ask your track record. All those, these are the normal banking due diligence processes. So I think within that space, it will be handled.
Excellent. I think we covered most, and by August we'll have the next round of webinar. So on the subject, because I'm sure the trades would have started by then. Thank you, Mr. Ashok. So that was quite informative, and thanks to Sharajom Putra for the sponsorship, and from MTC PAM as well. Thanks all those participants who stayed all through. Hope your queries have been answered. And if you want the recording, please drop in a mail, and we get that mail to you. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sudesh. Thank you to you personally, and to IGPC, to our sponsors, MMTC, PAMP, and SQL, and to everyone who is on the call for coming and listening to me patiently. Seek your good wishes, seek your blessings. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.